Welcome to the Raven Knoll Show. I'm your host, Raven C. Knoll, known as the Soul Physician. I'm a wife, mother, counselor, mindset plus life coach, and speaker, and this is episode number 10. Hey to the RCM Pod Squad. Welcome back to the show. So excited to have you with me again. I think I actually start every episode with that, but I truly am excited. So know that that is my heart. So today we're going to actually continue with the Truth Serum series. Last week I gave you a little bit of a deep dive and sneak peek into something I'm doing over on YouTube. But today I want to continue this series because I got such great feedback about the first episode in season 2. So many of you were excited about season 2 and I got so much great feedback that I really want to continue this series and continue to give you some truth. All right. So I want to start off this episode with asking you a question. Okay. So if someone gave you an opportunity and they described it as crushing, crumbling, hard, dull work that will reduce you and wear you down, how would you feel? I know I'm coming right out the gate swinging, but seriously, if someone came up to you and they said, "Hey, I have this amazing opportunity for you. It's going to really take you to the next level, but it's going to be crushing, crumbling, hard, dull work. It's going to reduce you to little of nothing and it's going to wear you absolutely down. Can you take the opportunity for me?" How would you really feel? Would that be something that you would willingly attach yourself to or desire to attach yourself to? Probably not, right? You'll probably be looking at them like, why would I want to do that? No, pass, goodbye. Well, that's literally the definition of grinding. When you do a basic Webster dictionary or Google search, it says something around the lines of this. Grinding is defined as something that is oppressive and seemingly without end. It's defined as harsh, and its purpose is to weaken or destroy gradually. That's crazy when you think about it, right? Because our culture and society right now is huge on grinding. It's the big thing, it's the new trend, it's the new word that's just floating around the internet. And culture tells you that the only way to be successful and the only way to level up and the only way to go to the next level in your life and career is to grind, is to make it happen. And actually, over the last few years, we've traded the term hustling for grinding. We went from aggressively pursuing something, our purpose, business, career, to no end, which is the actual definition of hustling, to working ourselves into the ground, trying to make something happen, which is actually the definition of grinding. Now, let me just add, both are very toxic and non-beneficial to your overall health. Just wanted to put that there. Now, I do understand that we are in a time and a day of high entrepreneurship, and women specifically are just kind of owning their lanes right now. And I get that. But I want you to understand that there is a healthier, better way of achieving your goals than grinding. Okay. We don't want to grind. But here's what I know. And why so many leaders and female entrepreneurs and just overall career women find themselves trapped or stuck in this cycle of grinding or working themselves into the ground to no end. Now, there's 2 reasons. And really quick, you're probably thinking at this point, okay, that's probably me. I do grind. I am a hard worker, probably to an unhealthy degree. And I just want you to have that moment of honesty with yourself. I want you to be true and say, hey, let me raise my hand. My name is so-and-so, and I'm a grinder. Like, let's just be real, okay? So here's 2 reasons that this typically is the case for women that are more high driven. Number 1, what I found with clients and working with high achieving women just over the years is that deep down, a lot of them feel that they have something to prove. And you may be saying, okay, that one's for me. So either out of an insecurity of personal self-value or what you bring to the table, or a fear that someone else is going to take your spot. Typically, it's one of those things, and insecurity is driving that thought process or that behavior, okay? So either there's just insecurity about who you are, what you bring to the table, what type of value you bring to the environment, or you're just afraid that someone is actually going to take your spot. And so what you do is there's this silent competition within you to outwork the person that is your opponent in your head. Sometimes we do this willingly, or sometimes women do this knowingly, and sometimes women do this unknowingly. Sometimes we're aware that there's an insecurity that's promoting this behavior, and sometimes we're just not aware. And so we have to know what exactly is going on internally within us that's causing us to feel as if we have to prove ourselves, okay? Or causing you to feel as if you have to prove yourself. And I've also found that high achieving women sometimes are afraid that they can't sustain their success. And so they feel as if they have to outwork the competition or they have to overdo it so that they can make this imprint or make this stance that I belong here. When honestly, you belong there, whether you prove it or you don't prove it, okay? And so that also comes from some type of inward security as well. And then, two, I've also found that women who are high driven, again, very successful women, unfortunately, you begin to find your identity in your work, okay? Your identity becomes attached to your work, how you perform, and what you produce. And this is most common, like I said, amongst career women, business women as well, because for so long, you've been praised for your hard work. You've been praised for your accomplishments. You've been praised for your degrees. You've been praised for your high efforts. You've been praised for the capacity that you can carry in your work and different things of that nature. And you've allowed those things to begin to validate you, okay? And when you do that for so many years, you train your mind and you train your heart to believe that those accolades actually make you valuable. Instead of knowing that you are valuable without the titles, without the degrees, without the accomplishments, you only feel valuable because of what you've done or how you perform. And so when you're not working, or you're not performing well, you don't feel like yourself. Or when you're not accomplishing things, you feel like you need to be working. Am I telling the truth? But here's the thing, it's something you need to know, and you got to get through your mind and your heart and your head. Grinding doesn't lead to better productivity. It doesn't lead to more opportunities, and get this, it doesn't secure a seat at the top for you. Grinding leads to burnout, exhaustion, emotional fatigue, depression, anxiety, and bad habits that can lead to addiction. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Power Pivot VIP Mindset Intensive. The Power Pivot VIP Mindset Intensive is a 2-day in-person workshop for faith-based, purpose-driven women who are scaling brands, bossing businesses, climbing the corporate ladder, or shining in their careers. Learn how to boss your next level without doubting yourself or second-guessing your ability to lead and succeed. Secure your seat in early bird pricing by going to www.powerpivotvip.com, because you deserve a seat at the table too. I've seen it time and time again with clients, and also just observation over the years. And trust me, that is not what you want. Okay, come on, can I get a witness? Because now if you find yourself trapped in this exhausting cycle of grinding, because let's be real, even if you just want to consider it you working hard or yourself as a hard worker and you don't want to name it grinding, I get it. But we got to be honest here. Either way, it's going to catch up with you. Grinding will get the best of you. It will catch up with you eventually, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. So if you're not at that point where you feel like it's caught up with you or you're in this mindset of grinding, just take this as a reminder. As I always tell you, you can always learn from someone else's life in general and figure out, how can I make sure that I don't cross over into that type of mindset or that type of work ethic, okay? And so if you have found yourself stuck in this cycle of grinding, know that it is an issue. It's not healthy, but there's 3 reasons why this is probably happening, okay? It's an issue of 3 specific things, all right? And if you want to get off this treadmill of life, because listen, you are running to no end, there's 3 areas that you want to focus on, okay? You want to focus on habits, You want to focus on mindset and you want to focus on identity. Okay. So, first, you want to focus on your habits because your habits are going to cross over into your mindset, and those things are ultimately going to cross over into how you feel about yourself and your identity and different things of that nature. Okay. So, you want to think about what can I change habit wise, okay, within my life? What does my habits look like that support this type of work ethic? How do my habits support my unhealthy work life balance? How does my habits support my grinding mindset? Okay. And then you want to think about how can I implement better boundaries around my work life balance? How can I implement better boundaries around my priorities in life? How can I implement better boundaries just in general? Okay. And you also want to think about what new healthy routines can you put in place that can help you break this cycle? Because ultimately you're in a cycle. It's like a relationship, right? You want to get out of this bad relationship, but you can't get out this bad relationship and you're in a cycle of going back and forth. And so you want to think about how can I actually break this cycle and break up with grinding? Maybe I need to get a t-shirt made that says that I need to break up with grinding, or I've decided to break up with grinding because it's just unhealthy, okay? And so eventually, as you change those habits are going to shift and transform your mindset, okay? And the best way to really do mindset work is two ways, okay? You want to get in the room, or you want to get in a circle or a part of a group of women who exhibit the change that you're trying to make. When you're around other people that have the same mindset, or you're doing it alone, it's really hard to break through in your mindset, okay? But when you can have an accountability structure or an accountability system or support or community around you, it's a lot easier to go in a healthier direction. And then number two, invest in a mindset coach like me, shameless plug, okay? To help you actually see measurable progress in this area. Because it's one thing to say, I'm going to change my habits, I'm going to put the boundaries in place, but it's another thing to be able to partner with a professional that can really tell you, here are the habits that you probably need to change, here are the things that you need to do. Here is what's unhealthy. Here is what is healthy. And then you have a complete picture, okay? And so when you start to dive into changing your habits and mindset work, that's going to automatically impact your identity and how you see yourself. It's a ripple effect of inner work that happens, okay? But what you want to understand out of all of this is that your identity is your foundation. It is the foundation of it all, okay? But until you slow down and stop all this grinding, which can often serve as a cover up for internal struggles and how you actually see and view yourself, you're never going to know how you see yourself, okay? Slowing down allows you to reflect. Just think about when we were in the pandemic, and well, we're still in the pandemic, but when we were on lockdown and they caused us to all quarantine ourselves. In that moment, you had no other option but to slow down and to see yourself. That was a moment that a lot of people kind of just crawled out of their skin because they hated it. But that's truly a moment that should happen more often in your life. You have to slow down because slowing down allows you to reflect. It allows you to see yourself. It allows you to see unhealthy behavior. Always being on the go, 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 that causes you to overlook, and it kind of serves as a cover up as well for things that you really need to be focusing on, okay? So no matter how old or how young you are, and no matter how many years you have in the game or not, okay, this is something you really want to pay attention to. My habits, my mindset, and my identity, and how are they connected to this lifestyle of grinding, all right? So if this hits home for you, I really just want you to have another honest moment with yourself. I want you to ask yourself these questions, okay? How did I get here? How did this happen? And what am I chasing? Am I chasing validation? Am I chasing approval? Am I chasing acceptance? Am I chasing some type of reward? What am I chasing? And what can I do to make a pivot and cultivate a healthier mindset within me? Okay? Because listen, I want you to go to the next level in your life. I want you to be successful. I want you to achieve your goals. I want you to do the thing. I want you to be the boss that you are. I want you to climb that corporate ladder. I want you to check off these goals for yourself, okay? I want you to do these things, but I want you to get there in the healthiest way possible. I am a woman that's a high achieving woman. I am a woman who has goals. I am a woman who aspires for better in my life, right? But I want to do it myself in a healthier way. I want to do it myself in the healthiest way possible. I don't want to cross over into these cultural norms. I want to do something that is going to literally sustain me for the long term. Grinding does not sustain, okay? It may get you there quick, but can you stay there once you're overwhelmed by exhaustion, burnout, anxiety, and all these different things? It's much, 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 much better to do this in a way that is paced, but also that is healthy, okay? We want to think about priority. We don't always want to think about accomplishing. How can I accomplish the things the fastest? But how can I prioritize myself and achieve my goals at the same time? Okay? So, grinding. Listen, we don't want that. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me for yet another episode. I hope this one actually pushes you in a healthier direction for your life, because grinding is just not where it's at. All right? I'll talk with you soon. This has been the Raven Knoll Show. Thanks for listening. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to this podcast so you're the first to know when new episodes are released. And don't forget to leave a review. If you can't wait until the next show, follow along on Instagram, YouTube, or Twitter at RavenCKnoll for more tips and to keep the conversation going. Go ahead and DM me on Instagram or take a screenshot of this podcast and share it to your IG stories. I want to know about your takeaways from the show. Don't forget to tag me and use the hashtag RCNPodSquad. Lastly, visit my website at ravenckknoll.com and join my email list to get exclusive bonuses only for my email subscribers. Thanks again for rocking and rolling with me. I'll talk to you soon.